So, welcome, Clinton Folk with Beer here.
Hello.
Scott Allwood and Stephen Runyon
Right
with you. Another.
That's Steven.
Are you sure?
Well, I hope you are. We have some news stories that we read that
you guys don't
Don't-
care about at all, but sometimes there's
that
some
we
humor
haven't
in it.
necessarily delved into, but
So
I don't know what he's about to read me right now.
this one is a little on the lighter side.
Let's hope so.
Because
the more I read these stories or hear these stories, I'm like, these are funny and all, but they're also really
it's just
sad.
crazy depressing. Yeah, it's like, this really happened. This is the world we live in.
This is a real life thing.
It's hysterical.
Yeah,
So
you like lighter side
Speaking of which,
person.
yeah,
thrown into wood
3
chipper.
people decapitated by crazy accident. No, it's insane Illinois woman bites and urinates on 4 police officers. So right out of the gate, impressed because she didn't just pee on 1 cop. There was 4 of them.
Yeah, she had enough to go around.
So, and without having a penis, that's pretty impressive.
She held it. It was like, squirt, squirt. Keep it in, squirt. Keep it in, squirt.
Do you think she bit him before or after she peed on him?
She was giving a bite and then a squirt.
I don't know why I do these podcasts with him. So, it said incident happened in Shelbyville, Illinois. Police were called to the residence of Hannah Strode. Her family members called 911 because she was attacking them by biting and pulling their hair. When the police arrived, she did not cooperate. The suspect then urinated on 4 officers on the scene. She also bit them. It's very poorly written, but I love it. She was charged with aggravated battery to a peace officer, aggravated assault to a peace officer, and domestic battery with a prior conviction. So she's already been in the clank, as it were.
She's already been.
The suspect had gone to jail for the same offense, the same thing back in 2017.
She loves doing it. She's a big fan.
Yeah, so before I go any farther, what do you think? So she just peed on 4
because
cops. How did
immediately
she do
I'm
that?
thinking about like how the guy is doing it. I'm going, oh, okay, he's got his penis out and he's just like
waving it everywhere. Yeah,
just
easy.
Spraying about. No cares in the world.
The chick's doing it like a skunk.
But then
she like bent over.
But then if the girl's doing it, suddenly
circle.
I'm turned on and I'm like, what is happening? I spray this direction, kind of thing. And I'm kidding. Please don't pee on me if you see me on the streets.
Because people are just going to go, oh, man, you know what?
No,
There's Scott. He was talking about getting peed on.
Oh, I heard him on the podcast. He wants to be peed on.
Yeah, I'm going to do him a favor. Just going to run over there and pee on him.
No, please don't, though.
Do you think maybe just 4 of them were trying to hold her and she was just like peeing and it was just like splashing on their boots?
They got a couple.
Like on
they
their
got a
pant
little
legs.
bit of a dribble.
It's not like she was really getting a strong shot. I mean, they probably definitely got urine on them, for sure.
I think they're exaggerating at least a little bit. It's like, oh, I got a little pee on me. Put it in the report. Whatever. Come on, a little pee.
I love it. But if you got peed on, I mean,
who hasn't? I mean,
again,
also, that's
pee.
not normalized to me. I don't care for that. Also, dislike.
So here's the other thing. So she peed on the cops. That's not what she had done prior, but she's apparently already gotten into a hair-pulling, biting match with her family members in the past.
Yeah, didn't you say this was like a second offense?
Yeah, she'd already been convicted, so I don't know. I would assume that means she'd already done time, however long, somewhere.
And she's like, you know what? Nah, I'm going to have to pee on all these people as well. Gonna have to do it.
Starts biting her family, pulling their hair, and then the cops show up. Just how? I mean, it's got to be a drunk thing, right? Like, hopefully she's drunk. Like, well, maybe it'll tell us.
I would like
to
think that she's on something at least.
Because then you're just like, your go-to defense mechanism is just to start pissing everywhere.
And piss.
Yeah. So the cops show up, and at that point, you don't just call it quits and throw it. It's like, okay, 4 cops are here, and instead you're like, I'm going down peeing.
Man, I look up to her, though. Like you
when
kinda,
she's peeing on
you
you.
kind of have to, right? Like the audacity of
Right.
a person
Going down
who just
swinging.
immediately that's their go-to.
That's what I'm saying. It seems like a very strong response.
Like I want to meet that person. I want to talk to that person and be like, "What the fuck?"
Right.
Because then they'd go, "What do you mean? What the fuck? It's my go-to." Because to them, it's nothing.
That's what I do. If I can't get
peeing
close
right
enough to
now.
bite you, I'll grab your hair, and if none of that works, I'm just gonna start spraying.
Yeah.
But that was it, man. That's all there is. It's just they're like a quote from the cops, and that's the end of the story.
That's all you get.
Anyway, so this is. I saw this again. Of course, I've never read this.
You saw the headline.
But I saw the headline the other day. Oh, good. They decided to put an ad over it real quick. Okay, here we are. So, wife swap murders. What led Jacob Stockdale to kill his mom and brother?
Yikers.
Yeah, so far, it's only brought up his mom and his brother, and the word wife swap was used.
Well, I mean, murder was the big
Also true.
flash.
I'm just saying.
In my ears.
Did murder jump out to you? Just, if I was reading this, murder would be something that jumped out.
Yeah. So why did he murder them?
F if I know.
Let's find out.
So when what a terrible
We're so
segue.
casual about like this awful thing that happened. Hey, let's find out why he murdered these people.
Desensitized, man.
Yeah. Yikes.
So we'll just get out of here. When a crime occurs, the public often waits in anticipation for investigators to solve the case, never thinking a serious crime could happen to their family. However, some families aren't so lucky and find themselves embroiled in tragedy. Mm-hmm. Sorry, it's a prelude. In 2017, the Stockdale family, who had appeared in a 2000 episode of the reality show Wife Swap, saw the lives of their mother and son reach devastating conclusions, and one of their closest members was responsible, Jacob Stockdale. Jacob Stockdale fatally shot his mother and brother on June 15th, 2017. Both family members died instantly from gunshot wounds to the head. Woo!
Did they watch the episode together and he was just like, nope, hate what you said in the interviews, done.
Yeah. That's what it was. Yeah, he's like,
that's what it says.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, actually, it says right here.
Oh, man, you guessed the rest. I'll just go ahead and put this down. Don't eat that anymore.
No, that's actually very awful, though.
So this says, died gunshot wounds to the head, and 25-year-old Jacob intended to then die by suicide. However, he ultimately survived after emergency responders rushed him to the hospital. So he immediately killed his mom and his brother, just shot him right in the head, and then it was his turn to shoot his own head. He was like, oh, screwed up. he went 2 for 2, and then he messed up the last one.
God. That's so awful because he was doing great, like he had a solid run, 2 for 2, killed. And then the third one just got away from him.
It got away from him.
It's like, oh, immediately dead. Oh, immediately dead. And I'm alive. What happened?
Right. They got
He's
me
waking up in the hospital like, I'm dead, right? Oh, this isn't hell. Okay.
The irony of it, right? Like, because God forbid the mom and the brother could have lived through their wounds.
Instead of this piece of shit who's deciding to kill him over a TLC program.
Yeah, right.
I assume it was aired on that.
See, right. Okay. His 2 other brothers and father were not at home at the time of the murders.
Thankfully.
And there exists very few speculations about why Jacob turned on his family members. Transported to the hospitals, family recovered. Oh, I don't know what. I have no idea what that is. Okay, morning of the murders, a 911 call was made to the police department.
By who? By him?
It doesn't say yet. So this is in Beach City, Ohio. The operator answered the phone, Caller quickly hung up. Then this raised concerns, of course, so they sent dispatch out. Officers, upon arrival, heard one gunshot and rushed into the house. They found Jacob near the bodies of his mother and brother with a wound to his head. They determined Jacob was the assailant, transported him to the hospital. Turns out Wife Swap appeared on ABC.
Oh,
so
big network.
Yeah. Right. In the early 2000s, reality TV was on the rise. Stockdale family decided to participate in the experience. Television show Wife Swap was popular on April 23rd, 2008. So that was a year after I graduated high school. The Stockdale family switched wives with the Tunkovic family. Lori, the Tunkovic matriarch, was easygoing and laid back, which was shockingly different from Jacob's mom, Kathy. Jacob struggled with his upbringing, telling Lori his mom and dad would tell him he would burn in hell when Lori tried to loosen the rules and have some fun. So apparently this guy who shot his mom, the mom was telling him basically hey, if you don't abide by our rules and stick to them 100%, you'll burn in hell. That kind of a mom.
She deserved to die.
Jesus.
She deserved to die.
And a strong take from Scott.
Just immediately. I haven't said a bit in a bit, and that's my bet.
That's
my bet.
That's what I think about that.
Like she should die.
Yeah, so I guess you can kind of figure the rest from there, right? I mean, he obviously had some issues.
I was gonna say I was wondering what would make someone kind of turn to that heel. That
kind of makes you. I guess we still don't know what prompted the murder itself. We know they have a history. Let's see what else it says here.
But if she was constantly being that terp, that type of attitude towards him, I'd probably flip on her as well.
Right.
I'd give her a 1-2. That's the 1-2.
Oh yeah, dude. So literally,
maybe I want to shoot her in the face.
You don't
give her a couple punches.
That's just because you're a coward.
Yeah.
A real man would just go straight to shooting somebody in the face.
It
seems like a perfectly reasonable escalation of the situation. You know what? I don't like that. I don't
like your attitude.
So they were on Wife Swap, and then eventually he just got upset with them over time. And
what it sounds like is that she was on Wife Swap
because the brother was like
egging her on, yeah, you're the best mom ever, and he's like, no, she isn't.
No, you got to die too.
So, this is real life. This is real life. Okay,
so we should have kept reading. It gets wilder, it turns out.
Oh boy.
So, okay, obviously we know they have a history. So when he was charged with the murders, he apparently after he recovered from his injuries, he submitted himself to the sheriff's office. He's tried 2 years later. But he pleads not guilty by reason of insanity, and he gets put in a mental hospital.
There you go.
He then attempts to escape the mental hospital on 2 separate occasions.
Shows you're crazy. Yeah.
It's really.
No, I really am crazy.
Right.
I'm trying to escape.
It says he devised a plan to escape the mental hospital. New stacks of books would be transported in and out of the hospital. Decided his best plan of action was to flee by hiding behind the stacks of books as they were being removed. Jacob was ultimately caught before he could escape the building. A month later, he attempted escape once again, this time with a much more obvious approach. He tried to blend in with a group of people leaving the institution. So his second attempt was I'm literally just going to try to blend into the crowd and slip out the door. But was quickly discovered before he could make it. So then...
Oh, yeah, so those people are leaving.
So then doctors...
That looks like Todd, doesn't
it?
We should probably... That's Todd. We should probably get him, right?
Yeah, they're just looking that's clearly him.
Yeah, is he,
Is
Kinda
he trying to
pulling
get out of
over
here?
the-
I think he's headed for the door. We should
Trying
probably
to-
stop him.
Hightail it out of here. Let's get that fucker.
So, next step in the story, doctors determine he was clinically sane at the time of the murders. So he's not going to get off on the
Yeah, sorry about you, bud. What's his actual name again?
Jacob.
Jacob.
I like Todd. Todd was good.
I miss Todd.
So Dr. Wood determined he was clinically sane.
I love that Todd's in there going, "Ah," and he's like, nah, this guy is totally sane. I don't know what's he doing, but he's being a dipshit.
Yeah, literally just trying to act crazy.
This is a case pretend to be insane 101.
Yeah,
Throw him back in the loony bin.
Goes on to say that he found there was literally nothing there. And then a week before the trial was set to begin, he pleaded guilty. Oh my gosh!
Because
So
he had already been caught. He'd been like, "Well, I guess I'm not gonna be using the insane count."
Well, so I guess what it was this is in Ohio recently. I wouldn't realize this was still on the table, but so if he goes to trial, they give him the death sentence. If they try him and he's sane and he's guilty, they'll give him the death sentence for those two murders. However,
so he's
I think he pleaded guilty.
No, really, I'm crazy.
Right? No,
nah, you're getting killed, bud.
It says a week before the trial, he pleaded guilty and he was given 30 years instead. So,
hey, listen, we know you're not crazy. Cut the shenanigans. We'll let you live for 30 more years. And he goes,
2 15-year sentences for murder, and that's it.
Yeah,
wow.
That's pretty wild.
Oh, so this is amazing. So apparently nobody knows for sure. It says while Jacob never shared his motives with the jury or the media, several theories have circulated. And so immediately they're now quoting the wife swap mom, the cool mom that got switched into Jacob's family. Okay. And she's the first quote. And they're just like, Jacob's wife swap mom, Lori, believed a lack of free will may have caused Jacob to snap. So they've got the mom that was at his house for a week going, what do you think this kid years later murdered his mom and brother? She hasn't known these people for that long.
She knew him for
a
week.
You know what? Yeah, right. Well, they were crazy. She deserved to die. Like, Jesus.
No, yeah, she deserved to die, according to him.
So that sounds like that's pretty well the end of it. Everybody else just continues to speculate because he never told anybody why.
So the wife swap doesn't really have much to do with it. It's just kind of like a story. It's
like almost just
in your face kind of thing.
Dumb luck. Yeah. They literally were on there. So frankly, if it was me writing an article, I'd probably write that in as well.
Sure. So is that it?
That's all I had. So I guess that'll do it for Clinton Folk with Beer.
Bye. That's so fun. What a good day. I'm still waving bye-bye.
I'll mess it up.
I'm sorry. Steven, what are you doing?
What? Sorry.